The year was 3175, far beyond the safe trade routes of the Galactic Council. There was a world that no one dared to visit. Its name was Ragnar, but across every star map it was marked with a single warning: Grave World. The planet was cursed. In many ways, its skies were torn apart by storms so powerful they could crush metal. The air was heavy with poison, a mixture of gases that could melt lungs in minutes. And roaming across its surface were beasts that towered higher than warships, their claws strong enough to slice through armor. For centuries, Ragnar had been left alone. Explorers who landed there never returned. Scouting drones that entered its orbit were destroyed by storms or swallowed by the magnetic fields. To every alien civilization, Ragnar was a reminder that some worlds were never meant to be touched. And yet one fleet dared to come. The alien ship Carathis drifted into orbit, its hull shimmering under the pale green glow of Ragnar's atmosphere. The vessel belonged to the Threx Dominion, a proud and ambitious species. Their mission was not to conquer, but to prove. The Council had long debated if Ragnar could ever be used for resources. The Threx wanted to be the first to declare it fully uninhabitable, so they could stop wasting money and ships on research. Inside the command deck, Captain Verl stood, tall, his 4 golden eyes staring at the stormy planet below. Around him, the crew worked in silence, their claws tapping against glowing control panels. "Begin surface scan," Verl ordered, his voice calm but sharp. "Show the Council that this planet is death itself." The scanners hummed. Waves of energy swept down through the clouds, cutting through lightning and toxic winds. At first, the results were what everyone expected: unstable atmosphere. Constant radiation bursts, surface temperatures shifting wildly between fire and ice. "Nothing lives here," said one of the science officers. "It has always been." But then, something changed. The scanner beeped. A weak signal flickered across the screen. The officer leaned closer, his mandibles twitching in confusion. "Captain, there is something strange." Verl frowned. "Explain. It looks like life signs, but impossible." "They are too organized, too steady. Not wild beasts." More like the officer hesitated, unsure of his own words. "Like intelligent life." The crew turned in shock. Silence filled the command deck, broken only by the sound of the storm outside battering the ship. Verl narrowed his eyes. "On this world, that cannot be." The officer swallowed hard, but the readings are clear. Oxygen consumption, heat patterns, structured clusters. They resemble settlements. The crew whispered among themselves, their voices tense. Settlements meant civilization. Civilization meant survival. But no one could survive Ragnar. Vorl's lips curled into a cruel smile. Perhaps the scanners are broken. Or perhaps some fools tried to settle here and perished. "Long ago. Show me the visuals." The officer adjusted the display. A map of Ragnar unfolded in glowing lines, showing endless storms and mountains blackened by ash. At first, nothing unusual appeared. But then, in a valley shielded by jagged cliffs, faint lights glowed. Tiny sparks in the darkness, moving, in patterns no storm could create. The crew gasped. The lights were not random. They were aligned in perfect rows, flickered like fires or energy lamps. "Impossible," whispered another officer. "Who would build here? Who would live here?" The computer adjusted the resolution again. The shapes became clearer, not ruins, not wreckage, but structures, walls, houses, towers. And then the final shock. Among the data streams came the undeniable rhythm of heartbeats. Not alien heartbeats. Not beasts. Human heartbeats. For a moment, no one spoke. The silence on the command deck was heavier than the storm raging outside. Every alien in the room felt the same chill. "Humans." Verl finally said. The word left his mouth like a curse. Everyone knew of humans. A young species, wild and unpredictable, spreading across space faster than any other. They had no great empire, no single ruler, yet they thrived everywhere. They survived where no one else dared to go, but Ragnar. No, that was beyond belief. The crew tried to make sense of it. Maybe they are stranded, one said. Maybe they crash-landed and will die soon. Another shook his head. No, look at the structures. That is not desperation. That is organization. Verl laughed, though there was no joy in the sound. So the stories are true. Humans crawl into every corner of the galaxy. In a graveyard world is not enough to kill them. The laughter echoed, but then it stopped suddenly. The scanner flashed again. The faint signals grew brighter, stronger, more detailed. It was no longer just shapes. It was an entire settlement. Farms carved into poisoned soil, barricades built against monstrous beasts, children running in the toxic air as if it were nothing. The crew froze. Their golden eyes widened. This was not survival. This was thriving. Vorl's voice dropped into a whisper almost lost in the hum of the storm. They said no one could survive here, and yet humans live. The final scan swept across the valley one last time. The entire settlement lit up in red outlines. Proof of life. Proof of human defiance. The grave world was not empty, belonged to humanity now. The alien fleet held their position in the orbit of Ragnarnine. Their scanners kept sending back strange signals. At first, the officers thought it was a malfunction. Nothing could live here. The Council had labeled Ragnarnine a death world centuries ago, but the readings would not stop. Heat signatures, power grids, even movement patterns that looked like farming in patrols. Captain Thrin of the Velari Union leaned forward in his command chair, his scaled fingers tightening. Run the scans again. Triple check. His science officer's frill shifted nervously. Captain, the readings are clear. They show life. Not alien beasts. Organized settlements. And they are human. The command deck fell silent. The crew of the Velari ship exchanged uneasy looks. Humans were strange enough in the Council's eyes. Always fighting wars, always adapting to hostile worlds. But Ragnarnine was different. Even war beasts from the Exer-Dominion had died within days here. Technology, no species, no army had lasted, and yet humans lived. Thrin narrowed his eyes. Show me the feed. A hologram appeared above the deck, the surface of Ragnarnine. It showed cracked earth, blackened storms rolling across the sky, and beasts the size of towers roaming freely. But then, the scanners highlighted strange structures. Buildings carved directly into cliffs, glowing faintly from within. A wall of metal and stone stretched across a valley, blocking out the beasts. Behind it, fields of food glowed with artificial light, the crew gasped. They're farming, the science officer whispered. On Ragnarnine, it should be impossible. The soil is toxic, impossible for us, another muttered. But not for them. Thrin's mind raced. If this was true, then humans had broken every rule the Council had written about survival. Ragnarnine was supposed to be proof of limits. Now, those limits were shattered. The captain tapped his coms. Prepare a recon party. I want eyes on the ground. We'll confirm this with our own sensors. The alien dropship descended through the storm clouds. Lightning crashed around, it shaking the hull. The pilot cursed under his breath as wind currents slammed them sideways. Level it out, Thrin ordered. I'm trying, Captain. The storms here don't follow normal patterns. It's like the planet itself wants us dead. Finally broke through the lower atmosphere. The crew saw Ragnarnine in its terrible beauty. The land was jagged, scarred by rivers of acid. Black storms rolled endlessly across the horizon. Giant beasts with plated hides prowled below, their roars echoing through valleys. And yet among all this chaos, they saw it. City human-made. Strong and stubborn, carved into the side of a mountain, lights flickered from windows. Towers made of steel and stone pierced the storm. Shields shimmered faintly, protecting farms below. The aliens stared. Their hearts pounded. It's real, the science officer said in awe. They did it. They are living here. The dropship touched down outside the massive wall. Immediately, alarms rang. Spotlights cut through the storm, aiming directly at them. From the gates, Human soldiers emerged, armored, armed, and steady. Their weapons gleamed, clearly upgraded to survive Ragnarnin's conditions. Their faces were hard, scarred from years of survival. The alien crew froze. These were not weak colonists. These were survivors forged by a death world. One of the humans raised his weapon but did not fire. Instead, he shouted something. The translators quickly caught it. "Identify yourselves, or leave." Thryn stepped forward cautiously, his scales trembling. "We are explorers of the Velar Union. We believe this world uninhabitable. And yet you live." The human soldier studied them for a long time. His expression was cold. Then he laughed, bitter and sharp. "Uninhabitable? Maybe for you, but for us. This planet made us stronger. Ragnarnin doesn't kill humans. It trains us." The words cut through the storm like lightning. The aliens looked at one another. It was madness. It was impossible. But standing before them were humans who had done the impossible. The tower doors creaked open, releasing a gust of air heavy with the scent of oil, stone, and smoke. Inside, torches and glowing power nodes lit the vast chamber. The walls were carved straight from the mountain, every inch showing scars of struggle. Claw marks from beasts, scorch lines from storms, cracks filled with steel reinforcement. At the far end of the hall sat the leader of Ragnarnin. He was a tall man, broad-shouldered, wearing armor patched together from scavenged alloys and beast hide. His eyes burned like fire, sharp and unyielding. His hair was streaked with gray, but his stance was proud, like someone who had faced death 1,000 times and never bowed. The alien Captain Thryn stepped forward, bowing his head slightly. "I am Captain Thryn of the Velar Union. We believe this world uninhabitable, yet here you stand. Who are you?" The man rose slowly, his boots striking the stone floor with the weight of command. "My name is Commander Rylan Kale," he said in a voice deep and steady. "Was once a soldier of Earth's fleet. We were stranded here. The Council declared us dead. But Ragnarnin did not kill us. It forced us to evolve." The alien crew shifted uneasily. Rylan stepped closer, his gaze hard as iron. "You look at this place and see a death world. We look at it and see home. This planet has broken every species that tried to tame it. But we did not tame it. We adapted until Ragnarnin itself became. Part of us, Thryn's frills stiffened. But how? The storms, the toxins, the predators, all tried to kill us," Rylan interrupted. "But we learned. We built filters from the beast's own carapaces. We forged walls from the stone that resists acid, studied the predators until we could hunt them as they hunted us. Every child born here is trained to fight before they can walk. Every elder carries scars of survival. You call this a curse? For us, it is the forge that tempered us into weapons." The chamber fell silent. One of Thryn's officers whispered nervously, "Weapons. Against whom?" Rylan's eyes flashed. He leaned forward. "Against anyone who threatens humanity." A heavy silence dropped over the hall. Thryn swallowed hard. His instincts screamed danger. "You must understand, Commander. The galaxy knows nothing of this. They believe Ragnarnin kills all who come here. If word spreads that humans thrive..." Rylan cut him off again, his tone sharp. "The galaxy abandoned us. Do you think we care what the Council believes? We do not need their approval. We do not need their pity. Let them know we live. Let them be afraid." The alien crew shifted uncomfortably. They had expected weak survivors clinging to life. Instead, they found a hardened people who spoke with the confidence of conquerors. One of Thryn's officers, braver than the rest, dared to speak. "Why reveal yourselves now? If you are so strong, why stay hidden?" Rylan's jaw tightened. His eyes moved toward the windows where the storm raged outside, because Ragnarnin itself has changed. The planet is restless. The storms grow harsher. The beasts grow larger, and the ground shakes with something deeper, something ancient. We believe Ragnarnin is not just hostile, is alive. The aliens froze. Alive? The planet itself? Thryn frowned. "You mean the storms and quakes are a part of some natural cycle?" But Rylon shook his head. No, we feel it. When you live here long enough, you sense it. Ragnar Neen tests us, as if it knows we are intruders. It pushes harder every year, and soon, something buried beneath the surface will awaken. The alien crew exchanged nervous looks. This was madness, yet the conviction in Rylon's eyes made it hard to dismiss? Awaken? Thryn pressed cautiously. Yes, Rylon said grimly. This planet is not just dangerous. It is a prison. Something old lies beneath these mountains, sealed away long before humans or Valari walked the stars. Ragnar Neen is the lock, and the storms are the chains. We are the guards, whether we chose it or not. The words struck the aliens like a thunderclap. For centuries, the Council had whispered myths of ancient weapons buried on death worlds, relics of forgotten wars, too dangerous to unearth. Most dismissed them as legends. But if Rylon spoke the truth, then Ragnar Neen was not just a survival story, it was a galactic threat. Thryn's claws trembled. If this is true, why tell? Us? Why reveal such secrets to outsiders? Rylon leaned closer, his voice low and fierce. Because the storms are changing faster than we can adapt. We may not be enough to hold what sleeps here. The galaxy thinks Ragnar Neen is dead. Let them believe it. But you have seen the truth. If the chains break, the universe will need more. Then humans of Ragnar Nine, it will need everyone. The alien crew fell silent. The chamber pulsed with the weight of his words. One of Thryn's younger officers whispered, Captain, we should leave. This is beyond us. But Thryn hesitated. If they left, the Council would never believe them. If they stayed, they risked becoming part of whatever nightmare was sealed below. Rylon studied him carefully, then spoke once more. You came here out of curiosity. Now you have a choice. Leave and forget us, or stay and help us prepare for what is coming. But remember this, Ragnar Neen does not forgive weakness. If you choose to stay, you will either adapt, or you will die. The torches flickered. The storm outside roared. The weight of the planet seemed to press down on everyone in the hall. For the first time in his career, Captain Thryn felt fear not of battle, but of the unknown. The human fortress, the alien fleet circled Ragnar Neen like vultures. Their captains exchanged messages filled with disbelief. Every scan showed the same truth. Humans were alive here. More than alive, they had built something. A settlement. No, more than a settlement. A fortress. From orbit, their instruments revealed towering walls carved out of black stone. Massive gates reinforced with metals the Council considered too rare to waste. Smoke rose from chimneys. Energy grids flickered in strange patterns. There were farms on a toxic planet where nothing should grow, but crops swayed in the wind, glowing faintly under protective fields. The alien commander, Xyrix, narrowed his eyes. This is impossible, he hissed. No species survives Ragnar Neen. How are humans doing this? His second officer, a tall insectoid, clicked its mandibles nervously. Maybe they are not surviving, it said. Maybe they are. Changing. The fleet moved lower, skimming. The atmosphere, storms battered their shields. Lightning the size of mountains forked across the skies. Their ships trembled. Even with advanced tech, they struggled. And yet when the storm cleared for a brief second, the fortress below still stood strong. The humans were not just enduring Ragnar Neen, they were mastering it. Inside the fortress, human eyes looked to the sky. Children pointed at the glowing alien ships. Farmers paused in their work, gripping tools that doubled as weapons. Soldiers in dark armor lined the walls. At the center of the city, a tall tower pulsed with blue light, reaching toward the heavens like a beacon. Captain Xyrix ordered a broadcast. This is the Galactic Council fleet. Identify yourselves. You're trespassing on a forbidden world. The transmission echoed into the storm. For long moments, there was silence. Then, a human face appeared on their screens. A woman, scarred but strong, with eyes that burned with defiance. You call this forbidden? She said slowly, her voice steady. We call it home. The bridge crew froze. Xerx's jaw clenched. Impossible, he muttered. Humans should have died here generations ago. The woman gave a faint smile. Many tried, many failed, but we did not. She leaned closer. Ragnarnine kills the weak. It forges the strong. And we have become stronger than you can imagine. The transmission cut. The aliens erupted in shouts. Some called for retreat. Others demanded an immediate attack. Xyrix silenced them all. We cannot allow humans to spread from this world. If they have truly adapted to Ragnarnine, they are more dangerous than any weapon. Meanwhile, on the ground, the humans prepared. The fortress walls shimmered with hidden energy barriers. Weapons crafted from storm-forged metals hummed with power. The tower at the center flickered brighter, sending coded pulses through the atmosphere. One human, a boy no older than 12, asked his mother, "Will they come for us?" His mother tightened her grip on her weapon and answered softly, "They already have." That night, storms screamed louder than ever. Alien ships descended lower, breaking through lightning clouds. But as they came closer, they saw something that made their blood run cold. On the cliffs beyond the fortress, shapes moved. Giant beasts, Ragnar predators, larger than tanks, with claws like swords, stood waiting. But they were not attacking. The humans. They stood alongside them, watching the sky as if ready to fight for the fortress. Xyrix stared at the readings. "Not possible," he whispered. "They've tamed the predators." The council officers could hardly breathe. To survive Ragnarnine was one thing, but to control its monsters, that was unthinkable. Walls of the fortress, torches, and energy lamps lit up. Hundreds of humans stood in rows, their weapons gleaming. Their leader raised a hand, and the beasts on the cliffs roared in. The galactic fleet floated above Ragnarnine like a dark crown, their warships glowing against the storm. Lightning cracked across the skies, flashing on the fortress below. Inside, humans stood ready. Every man, woman, and even children carried weapons. On the cliffs, the great beasts of Ragnar growled, their eyes burning like fire. The air itself seemed alive with tension. On the flagship, Captain Xyrix gave his order. Test their defenses. Fire a warning strike. A massive beam shot from orbit, slamming into the fortress wall. The ground shook, dust rose. But when the smoke cleared, the wall still stood. The alien crew gasped. Their weapons, strong enough to pierce most colonies, had barely left a scar. Xyrix narrowed his eyes. Again, full power. This time, 3 beams rained down. The walls glowed red-hot, but did not fall. Instead, something unexpected happened. The fortress absorbed the energy. Blue veins of light crawled across the stone running into the central tower. The beacon pulsed brighter, humming like a living heart. "They used our attack as fuel," one officer stammered. Xyrix's claws tightened on the rail, then we hit them harder. "Prepare ground forces." Below, the humans cheered as the tower surged with power. Their leader, the scarred woman from before, raised her hand. "They think we are weak. Show them we are not." The gates of the fortress creaked open. Within, armored soldiers marched out, carrying weapons forged from storm metal. Behind them came the beasts, massive and snarling, their hides scarred. From countless battles against Ragnar itself, the first alien dropships cut through the storm. They landed hard on the black plains outside the fortress. Doors opened and squads of insectoid warriors poured out, their claws clashing against their plasma rifles. They screeched their war cries and charged. But the humans did not hide. They ran to meet them. The battlefield exploded into chaos. The first clash was brutal, humans with storm-forged spears striking against alien armor. Plasma bolts lit. The rain, but human shields, glowing with strange blue light, deflected them. The beasts roared, smashing into squads, tearing apart machines with their claws. One alien screamed as a massive predator, twice the size of his dropship, ripped through his squad. Humans moved alongside the creatures as if they were trained war horses, hunters and beasts fighting as one. On the flagship, Xyrix could only Stare. They are not fighting like survivors, he whispered. They are fighting like conquerors. The battle raged through the storm. A young human leaped onto an alien war machine, jamming a spear into its glowing core. The machine exploded, sending metal raining across the plains. Another squad of humans rolled strange barrels forward, opening them to release clouds of burning mist that melted alien armor. The aliens fought fiercely, but they were unprepared. Ragnarnene's storms blinded their sensors. Their weapons overheated. In the toxic air, the humans adapted through generations, moved like shadows in the chaos. Zarik slammed a clawed fist into the console. Enough. Deploy heavy walkers. From orbit, giant machines descended. Towering walkers landed with thundering steps, their cannons aimed at the fortress. For a moment, the balance shifted. The walkers fired, sending explosions ripping through human lines. The beasts roared in pain as plasma burned their hides. The scarred human leader stood tall on the fortress wall, watching the chaos. Her people were dying. She raised her hand toward the central tower. Now, she whispered. The beacon flared like a second sun. Blue energy shot into the storm clouds above, twisting them into a vortex. Lightning began to fall, not at random, but aimed. Bolts the size of warships slammed into the alien walkers, frying their circuits, blasting them apart. The sky itself had become the humans' weapon. The battlefield fell silent for one terrible moment. Then the humans roared in victory, charging again, their beasts howling beside them. Xyrix staggered back from the screen. His officers looked at him in horror. They command the storm, one whispered. The captain's voice was low, almost trembling. They leave this world. No force in the galaxy can stop them. On the surface, as alien soldiers retreated toward their dropships, the scarred woman raised her weapon to the sky. Tell your council, she shouted, her voice echoing even through the storm. Ragnarnene belongs to humans. If you come again, you will not leave alive. The dropships fled into the storm, dragging wounded warriors aboard. The ground was littered with burning machines, shattered weapons, and the broken pride of the Galactic Council's fleet. Above, Xyrix gave the only order left: retreat. This world is theirs, for now. But as the fleet pulled back, Xyrix's eyes burned with a different fire. They have shown their power. Now the Council must decide, do we destroy them? Or do we prepare for war? On Ragnarnene, the humans returned to their fortress, battered but unbroken. Their leader stood beneath the glowing tower, watching the storm rage around her. She knew the truth. The Galactic Council chamber was carved from black crystal, floating in orbit above the star of Arcanus. It was the largest political gathering, place in the galaxy, where representatives of 400 civilizations sat in towering circles around a central floor. The chamber buzzed with unease, whispers echoing in dozens of alien tongues. Everyone was waiting for Captain Xyrix. The massive doors opened with a grinding sound, and Xyrix marched in, his armor scorched from battle. His usually proud stride was slower now, weighed down by the memory of Ragnarnene. The Speaker of the Council, a tall being of light called Varen, raised its hand. Captain Xyrix, you led the fleet. Tell us what happened on Ragnarnene. The chamber fell silent. Voice echoed against the crystal walls. We struck with full force. Our weapons could not break their fortress. Our machines fell to storms they command. Our soldiers were slaughtered. Shock rippled through the chamber. Some delegates laughed in disbelief. Others hissed or muttered angrily. One delegate, a massive reptilian general, slammed his claw on the table. Impossible. Humans are scattered, weak, broken. They cannot resist the Council's army. Xyrix's eyes burned.
Eyes.
Then go see for yourself. These humans are not weak. They fight with beasts like war brothers. They bend the lightning itself. They turned Ragnar's storms into their weapon. My fleet, the strongest in this sector, was forced to retreat. The silence that followed was heavy, like a stone dropped into deep water. Finally, the speaker spoke. What you describe cannot be ignored. If humans can master a death world like Ragnar Neen, they are a threat to us all. Another delegate, with silver skin that shimmered like water, leaned forward. Perhaps it is only this one tribe. We could return with greater force, burn the planet from orbit. Xerix shook his head. I saw their eyes. They are not survivors waiting for death. They are warriors preparing for war. If we burn Ragnar Neen, others will rise. And when they rise, they will remember. The chamber erupted in argument. Voices clashed, some calling for extermination, others warning caution. The council, once united in dominance, was suddenly filled with fear. At last Varen raised its hand again, and the noise died. We must decide. We crush them before they grow stronger, or do we attempt to control them? The word control lingered in the air. From the shadows at the edge of the chamber, an old delegate spoke. He was from the Thalrex Dominion, a race that once fought humans in another age. His voice was rough, broken by memory. You speak as if humans can be controlled. They cannot. Fought them centuries ago. They bend, they suffer, they bleed. But they never break. You crush one colony, and another rises. You chain them, and they find a key. You bury them, and they dig their way back. All eyes turned to him. His face was pale, trembling, but his words struck like daggers. I tell you this, humans do not die quietly. If Ragnar Neen stands, then the galaxy will hear their name again. And when the galaxy remembers humans, war will follow. The chamber shook with anger. Some called for his removal, others demanded proof. But deep inside, many delegates felt the chill of his words. Meanwhile, far across the stars, Ragnar Neen prepared. The fortress, the scarred human leader, known now as Commander Alara, walked the walls. Her people buried their dead and reforged weapons from alien wreckage. The beasts were fed and healed, their loyalty unbroken. The beacon pulsed above them, brighter with every storm. A child ran up to her, holding a shard of alien metal. Will they come back? He asked. Alara placed a hand on his shoulder, her eyes hard. Yes, and when they do, we will be ready. Back in the council chamber, the debate turned darker. Some demanded Ragnar Nine be destroyed before it became a symbol of human defiance. Others argued it was too late. If they destroyed the humans now, the story of their stand would spread faster than fire. Xerix stood in the center, silent. He thought of the scarred woman, her voice echoing through the storm. Ragnar Neen belongs to humans.